What is up, GOAT World? It's me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you with another GOAT format video. But this time I got something a little bit special. As I've mentioned before in previous videos, the GOAT format Warleague is underway officially. With me today in studio, I have some of my co-founders with me. The uncrackable, the people's champion, Moxies is in the house. Go and say something
Hello.
to Moxies. And also
Hi, everyone.
And I also have Insidious. We got here today. I just want to kind of talk about the league. We're going to talk about the teams. We're going to talk about where we think this thing is going to go. So first, if you guys want to briefly talk about how you guys got involved with this and what's happening.
Hi, I'm Moxies. I've been playing for a couple years now, and I've been wanting to war since basically I joined and got into the community. To be honest, it's just when I joined, the community for warring was kind of already past its time. It was dead. So it never really happened. So it's been something that's been stewing in my mind and some of my Yu-Gi-Oh friends' minds for a while. And over the last couple of months, some things have fell through, and some people have put in hard work. Like a couple people here and a couple other people outside of here. We've kind of all put time into it and decided, you know what, like it's time to get it done. And I'll be honest with you, I did not expect how much support this has actually gotten, and yeah, this is crazy.
And Insidious, you want to just say something about yourself, introduce yourself for the people that don't know, because I know everyone knows Moxies, and if you tune into JDZ Plays Goats, you've seen the homie Moxies roll through on Coach's Corner. You know he's a champion, but a lot of people may not know who Insidious is. So if you just take a brief moment to let the people know who you are, and then we'll jump right into things and get it started.
So I'm Insidious. I've been playing Goats since 2014, 2015. Ever since I hosted my own Reddit tournament. Since then, I've been on and off with Goats. I go on hiatuses because Goats the best format, but that's okay. But it drew me back, especially when WGM proposed that I join the council because he wanted to start Warleague. So I decided to get involved with that, and I've just been all about it with the forums, with the rosters, just advertising, and I'm just excited to see what comes with it.
Same. And I know that everyone's buzzing about it. Everyone's super excited about it. Everyone wants to get it started. The idea came about, and WGM came to me and said he wanted to do this, and I was all for it. So I'm so excited and happy to be a part of this. But this is not why the people are here. The people are here to hear what the official first week of GOAT format Warleague power rankings are going to be. As I mentioned before, we got 16 teams came in, which is way larger than any of us probably expected. All of the premier teams that you have come to know and love, and also some new up-and-coming fresh-faced teams have came in to participate in the first inaugural season of the GO Format World League. So all the top dogs, I believe, maybe a large percentage of the top 100 ranked GOAT format players are participating in this league, as well as new players coming in from the modern game to participate. So it's going to be extremely competitive, high-level competitive play, all the way top to bottom. I'm super excited for it. Over 100 players, 16 teams. So with that, are you guys ready to jump into the first ever GOAT format World League power rankings?
I'm ready.
All right. So how this is going to work? We're going to have it straight from bottom to top. 16 teams. We're going to start at number 16, and we're going to go all the way to number 1. We did some back and forth with ourselves, and these are the official GO Format World League power rankings. However, it does not reflect who you are or what. We don't want any beef or any smoke from anybody from what position that you're in. If you're down, prove us wrong. If you're at the top, you better prove us right, because these things are going to change on a day-to-day, week-to-week, season-to-season basis. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump in. Number 16. Number 16, we have the free agents. So Moxies, number 16, free agents. We got Shane in there. Why did we put the free agents as the bottom team?
I mean, for me, it's just a bunch of unknowns, a bunch of people who have never played, don't play it much, super unpracticed. And if you look at the overall, broad view of all the players in the league and the overall competitiveness of it, it's just not saying any of these players are bad or could be bad, but it's just on paper. It's like, what are you really going to do? They're in a tough spot.
I would probably agree with that. And Cities, what you got?
Yeah, this is a team that was made up last second, just so we have an even number of teams. Looking at who they have, Shane could be a good leader. He's definitely a good player. He knows what Goats is about. But Looking at these other players, no one stands out except maybe Winteries. And I do hear some hype about Birdman, Paulo, and Esox, but I did not know any tournament results to make them think that they'll be better in 16. I have them winning maybe 2 games, so 2-13 is my prediction for the first season.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, same. That's my ceiling for them is about 2 wins.
Oh wow, you guys are really sleeping on the free agents. I think Shane is going to whip those guys into shape. I'm really looking at Curse and Esox. They got some results on the ladder. Very new, still very green. I'm really excited to see what the free agents have in store for us coming up this season.
Prove us wrong.
I will say, Birdman's been killing it on the ladder, and Paulo does have a top 8 at FLC 16 with Burns. So, there's potential there.
I prove was wrong. All right, so that's number 16. Number 15. All right, number 15 we have the Rising Suns. Rising Suns coming in at the 15th spot. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's fair, or do you think they got where they need to be?
So with Rising Suns, again, much of an unknown team. A lot of players who tried to join other teams and just didn't make the roster spot. So they're pretty unknown. I gave them a number 15 because I thought that they were honestly a worse team up until free agents came out of the blue. I also have them going 2-13.
Oh wow, okay. Insidious is just cutthroat with the analysis. I love it. What about you, Moxie?
I have them a little higher than 15 personally. I think there's some good players in there. Pretty Girl UW used to be underneath a different tag and was pretty good. And he was teammates with Code Gias and Kuma for the 3v3. They're not bad. Spiral's done decent in some things, and then Foomcat, Mercenary, and Tom Bassi, they've had some success here and there. I definitely don't think they're the worst team here. I don't even think they're the 15th worst team here. I think they're some of their topper, like the more top heavy of their base. They could beat some of these bottom teams. I think their ceiling is about 4 wins.
Absolutely. Okay, I probably have to agree with that because I know Pretty Girl Ooh is just crushing the ladder right now. Mercenary V actually won a Patreon Friday out of nowhere. It just came out the blue and just dominated that whole thing in extremely clean and precise fashion. So I'm really looking out for them too. So I never know. The season's long. Prove us wrong. So that's
Absolutely.
Number 15. Number 14. All right, number 14 we have We Love CC Kochi coming in, the Italian team. Moxies, what do you think about them? 14, is that a good spot? Is that too low? Is that too high? What do you think?
It's in the same this 16 to 13 range is just a bunch of teams that are kind of could switch every week here and there kind of thing. I had them at 15 personally. I think there's just a lot of unknowns. A lot of these players have never played or barely played in any major tournaments against any of the top online people. I don't really have very much data on any of them, so it's really hard to gauge them. They play a lot with each other, so they definitely play a lot and practice a lot. But realistically, I can't really have them that high. They're just really unknown team, other than Snatch Steel and CC.
What do you say? What do you say, Insidious?
With my utmost respect, this is a fully Italian team, but this is not their A team. This could possibly not even be their B team. I think that maybe they'll have sort of chemistry playing with each other, probably at locals or tournaments in real life. But there's nobody on their team that really scares me enough to be above a number 14 spot. I have them winning 3 games this year or this season.
Wow, you guys are very harsh. I have an affinity for Italy. I think GOAT format runs through Italy. I've mentioned this a lot of times on my program. I had We Love CC a little bit higher, but that's just me. And how we did these power rankings for you folks at home, there are a lot of factors involved with recent tops, team tops, per individual performances. We took a lot of things into accountability. We didn't just pull these numbers out of our where. We came together and there's a lot of back and forth. I had these guys a little bit higher, but this is where they ended up. So prove us wrong. I'm excited to see what this Italian team is going to put together. International Xeon can play. You know, they got some talent in there. So Snatch Deal, obviously Snatch Deal can throw as well. So we can. I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm excited about everybody. I'm excited for the whole league. I think anyone can win. Yeah, I really have a lot of faith in this Italian team, and I think they're gonna shock a lot of people. Because they can beat a lot of people. This is only one game a week. You know, anything can happen in one game a week.
Right.
All right. Number 13. We have the Eloteros, the Cornmen. The Cornmen coming in at number 13. Moxies, what do you got? That's some of your boys in there. Taking that thing away. What do you know about the Cornmen that are going to shock the world or not at number 13?
I mean, they're my own kind of farm team, but if I'm completely honest with you, I think they're more gonna, not be good. But
what?
Yeah, they're putting in a lot of work though, so they can surprise me. Like the two teams that the LG has kind of formed here as under a wing, they've been putting in a lot of work. Like between them playing each other, them discussing, them bringing in LG members so we can help them and discuss them. They definitely put in a lot of work. I'm not quite sure they're ready to showcase it, but they do have Sparky, who is one of the best Warrior players of all time. Constant, tops everything he joins, barely plays, shows up, tops. So he's definitely a force to be reckoned and is a good anchor for them as he's going to win, every week, probably get you a win, so it helps the team out. But I don't think their ceiling's very high, not unless they really get better as a team, which they can. So
I think Elodorus is very top heavy with Sparky Flary, leading a charge probably most of the weeks. But looking at the rest of the roster, Zoidberg is always down himself. DGZ forever. It's been forever since I've seen him win. Silver's decent. He knows I like to roast him sometimes, but he definitely can get a couple wins here and there. Okay. I do agree that they're probably putting in the work internally, which is why I have it number 13. But I still think they'll get maybe 3 wins and. Maybe Sparky will leave the team, hopefully. Anyways,
I mean, I personally believe in Zoidberg more than I played Zoidberg a few times, and he took me out. I think if Zoidberg can just believe in his own skill set and play the game all the way through, Zoidberg misplays a lot. If he can clean it up, I think Zoidberg could possibly be, he's newcomer of the year, in my opinion. I'm just gonna say Dark Horse is Zoidberg. I'm putting a lot of faith in Zoidberg. Don't prove me wrong. All right.
He does have Mark MPS and Ivan Rizito, pounding him daily on what to do and how to play. That'll work to sooner or later. That'll get you.
He's gonna have a breakthrough. I believe it's gonna be very soon. Number 12, we have Team Solitaire. I had Solitaire much lower in my own personal opinion, but I'd like to hear what you all have to say about Solitaire. Starting with you, Mr. Insidious.
Solitaire's not one of those teams that I'm not really sure of. I know Brandis was looking for a team that he settled to make his own, so probably a good portion of them is people he knows in real life. And I trust Brandis to come up with a decent team. I think that they could be a surprise, like one of those teams that are no names. I think actually no, aren't they a team current ones that play currently?
I believe so. They have a lot of current players on that roster.
Yeah, I think them learning from Brandis or whoever could definitely get some surprise victories. So that's why I had them at number 11, and I think they could go 5 and 10.
This one was like what's the word? They're like a really big dark horse wild card for me because they. Like in comparison to current, they're all like extremely good players. I'm pretty sure Lund won a luxury gaming current tournament, like with hundreds of players, or whatever. He won it during the no Konami events because of COVID. So all the best players were playing in these instead. And I'm pretty sure he either won it or came second. And he's topped a couple of other ones. Like he's really good. And some of these other players in there are extremely good current players. So there shouldn't be a lot of they should transition to GOAT fine. Like Coat and Flocky, they got top 6 in the first 3v3. So they have the potential. Brandis obviously has come with a lot of experience. So for me, they're a team that if they put in the work, and actually study film, and you don't actually put effort into the league instead of just showing up and playing and assuming that because they're good at current that they can just transition and not play that much and do well in this. That won't work. But if they do put the time in, I low key think this team has potential to make the playoffs. To be honest.
Oh wow, okay, playoff team. That'd be sick. I personally would agree with you more, Moxies, because I think if you play current at a high level, and a lot of people don't agree with me, but I feel if you play current at a high level, you are at an advantage in GOAT format, because I think there are way more decisions you have to make, way more complex lines you have to take in the current game than there are in the GOAT game, because it's just way more reading, way more stuff to remember, way more, and these lines are kind of once you simplify the GOAT game, it's not a lot of stuff that you have to kind of know. So I think they're going to be at an advantage with their young, fast, supple minds. So shout out to Solitaire. Hopefully they can surprise the world, shock the world.
I've seen the song and dance before though, and current players that they're doing well, they come to a 17-year-old format thinking, okay, this is going to be easy, and then finding out that Go format has its own uniqueness to it. So they're another team that's got to prove it.
I agree.
Maybe they're a little more serious than the teams below them, but I wouldn't say that they're automatic. Could be a dark horse playoff team for sure.
Number 11, we have 5 guys, 1 Kuru, another LRG offshoot. Another team that can really shock the world, I think. So I'm gonna let you go and take it away, Moxies. What do you think about some of your other spin-off LRG light?
This one I have the opposite hopes for. I think this team is kind of like Solitaire to me in the sense of I think they could be a playoff team if they really put in the work and got good. Kuru in general, he likes to say I'm bad, whatever in chat. He's not bad. He topped worlds. He's topped multiple GFCs. He knows what he's doing when he actually puts the time. The thing is he disappears, from the format too, and he wasn't really around a lot last year, and he's back. And one of the reasons why he's back and putting time into it is because he's the leader of one of these teams, and he's been helping us a lot in the Warleague, and he's kind of, his energy and his love to play in the community has kind of been reinvigorated, so he's wanted to do it. He's really good. So him leading a team, and then some of these young guys quotation mark, like they could be older than any of us for all we know, but young to the scene, kind of getting their thing. Bobby Buckets, Fox, Planchy, Dead. These are all guys with a lot of potential. I've seen them play. Like they're not bad. They just need some guidance and some structure and some practice.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're going to be crazy good. Honestly, this team to me has potential.
They are a small team. Kuru, definitely weird champ. He top worlds, and he's better than what he perceives himself to be. I think Bobby Buckets and Planche also did really well at the latest 3v3 Euro, so that's good. But the rest, I'm not sure of. And you have these are best of 5 matches, so you gotta get at least 3 wins. I could see Kuru and say Bobby Buckets getting those 2, but I don't know. I've never heard of Shakapachi.
Me either.
Yeah, me either.
It's gonna be tough, and they don't have stacked enough roster to get them there. I think they finish with 4 wins.
Oh wow. Okay. And you nailed it too, Moxies. Bobby Buckets, look out for Bobby Buckets. I think Bobby Buckets has the potential to be, rookie of the year or newcomer of the year. The man can actually absolutely play. I think he went undefeated in 3v3. I think he went undefeated, and he beat some serious people in these Patreon tournaments. Look out for him. My eye out for the Buckets.
MVP Dark Horse.
MVP Dark Horse. Bobby Buckets. Yeah. I think I'm calling it now. All right, so now we're getting to the top 10. Now this is where it starts to really get tight. Moving into the top 10 teams of the Warleague first season. All right, so number 10, we decided that it's going to be Beam Tones. Beam Tones is going to be number 10. Why do we put them at number 10, Mr. Insidious? Take it away.
I think they are the B team of Bad Bones, but I do trust players like Ron Swanson, Manic Lord, Jinzo Dude, and Kotsos to do well.
Absolutely.
I believe Giami Uber is Matt Uber's brother, so you can definitely expect some spice from there. No, it just seems like a very solid team. I wouldn't say they're great, but they're not bad. I think they could definitely. I had them at number 10, and I could see them finishing with a 6-9 record.
I have the complete opposite view of you two. I thought they were on paper really bad,
Oh
and
wow.
I had them at 14. I almost put them at 15. Personally, for me, like Ron Swanson to me is their first or second best player on that team, and he's extremely new to playing Go format, and has no, and he's great. Like he's a great person, but like really, he has no tops, no. He hasn't done like basically anything, and we're saying, or I'm thinking that he's one of their best players. So that on paper is not very good. Jinzo dude has not done incredible, since coming back. He has had some success recently, though.
Yeah.
He got top at the GFC, and he got him and his team top at this 3v3. So he's definitely been playing a lot better this year. So shout out to him. Good for him. But in general, he's been playing now consistently here and there for a couple of years, and there really hasn't been a lot coming from him. The rest of the roster are either new or haven't really done much. Kotso has been pretty. He's actually pretty decent. I totally respect that guy. That guy's been pretty good. But other than that, yeah, he beat me too actually in a raw with a funny deck. He really isn't that bad. I don't think they're like the worst team or anything. They have a lot of question marks, and and I think it's. I'd be very surprised if they got more than like 3 or 4 wins.
This one beam tone specifically. We were kind of lockstep on a lot of the choices, but I had beam. I think beam tones is where we kind of drafted widely, because I fully believe in beam tones. Ron Swanson, you got Costos, they got a really deep the depth they have, and they can switch it up, and it's going to be really hard to pick against them because they got a lot of control in there. You got Manic Lord in there, empty jarring it up. You got a whole bunch of stuff to try to prepare for going into that next week. So you got beam tones on your schedule. You don't know what you're going to get. And they're well versed. They can play a lot of different stuff. So like you said, Costos with his water stuff. You got Jinzo Do with control stuff. It's gonna be interesting to see. So we'll see what Beam Tones can do at the end of the season. We'll have a recap and see who was right. Number 9, we got Bad Bones. So the other half of the Team Bones. What do you think about number 9 there, Moxies?
I think this is where we start to separate from like the grouping below or of lower of all the teams we've already did are kind of hit and miss. Any of them can go higher, any of them can go lower. But now we're at the number where I think these teams starting from now and above are definitely clearly on a different level than every other team we just did. I think Bad Bones is pretty good. I probably wouldn't have had this team that high or as high as I did if they hadn't added some recent players. The Nano's on the team now. He's obviously a really good player, one of the better turbo players. They added Shotgun Lopez, who's a GFC champion. Like that's obviously a huge boost. They had Delinquent before, who unfortunately had to drop, but like their team was looking good. The Sauce has made some waves. Goat Vio just qualified at the last FLC. Funky's okay. Chifty's obviously pretty good. Like their team is pretty good. Like it's better than all the teams that we've just said. They've got like a lot of high potential. So
yeah, I had Bad Bones in like the 6th or 7th spot when Delinquent. So when he dropped, I dropped them.
Smart,
of course. Fantastic player. And Shogun Lopez definitely showed what he's made of last year. Goat Vio is definitely consistent. Shifty, I gotta see. I haven't seen personally how he plays, but from what I hear, he's decent. So I think this is 9 is a fair spot, and I think that a 7-8 or an 8-7 record is where they're at.
Number 8. All right, number 8, we got DMG. DMG's at number 8. Insidious, you might not be able to weigh in on this one as much. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure you have DMG as number 1. But Moxies, I want to hear what you have to say about DMG being at the number 8 hole.
I think it's a fair spot. It's they've had their own issues for the last year and a bit. They might not want to say it publicly or hide behind whatever facade they want to hide behind, but everyone knows they've had their their issues with certain things. But the talent is there. It's not necessarily a talent problem. It's going on there, but I think they have a lot of issues between like activity and putting in the work that other teams do. Talent wise, they're obviously like stacked. They've got great players.
Absolutely.
That have done tops or won things before. So they picked up Fancy Diesel, who was an option that I passed along to Insidious, and I think he's got a lot of potential. He
just clapped me up today.
Yeah, he's a guy that I kind of registered as like, you know what, this guy needs a team that's, that can help him and he can help. Like, it helps both ways. Like, Damage Step can help him because he's a new player and they're older, they have experience, and he can help them because he brings activity and like a want to be good. So same as kind of Alisaie's in that same category. Like, there's a lot of want from them, so kind of mixes well with some of the Damage Step players.
You wanted some insight? If you didn't know, folks, Insidious is actually a member of the wonderful organization of DMG, and he will. I'm sure he's got his homer picks. What do you have to say about your team there, Insidious?
Where do we start?
That'll be a whole nother video. We have the
So I did personally place us at number 8. I think Moxies is on point. Our issues have for the past 2 years been activity, and who wants to play, who doesn't want to play, who goes on hiatuses. And then when we're fully healthy, we're the Brooklyn Nets. We have the talent for it, we have the knowledge for it, we have the experience for it. The problem is, do we have the players to play for it? So we don't have Mascus or Cameron this season. They're out. Season-ending injury. Yeah. We lost Oracle, who was a longtime member. So we're just. I had to take over the captain role because MF is dealing with grad school stuff, I believe. So Templar is one of the better players in the UK. If there's ever a 5-6v6 Iron War, Templar is definitely in it. Soul is our Dennis Rodman. He does all the trash talking for us, but he can't back it up when he needs to. Hyper Beam is returning. We're excited about that. He was on a hiatus, but he's definitely one of the better Go Control players, but also he can have his own spice. Alistair is a new pickup, loves the Warriors, loves their own techs. Fancy Diesel, again, thank you to Moxies for letting me know about him. I feel really good about him and his performances so far in testing. He will definitely be starting sometime soon. And then, MF, when the going gets tough, we're going to call up on MF, help save us with whatever deck he can bring. And then if we do make it to playoffs, I could definitely see him starting for us. I do have us winning 9 games, so 9-6, and then maybe contending for the playoffs. That's a goal right now. I can't say we have title aspirations, but just making it to playoffs, I feel, with a sort of depleted roster, would be a successful season.
I would agree with that. And I would agree with everything that both of you fine gentlemen said. I fully believe in Damage Step. Full powered Damage Step, all healthy and in the thing. I'm putting you guys in top 4, maybe top 5, top 4 easy. But just with everything that you guys have stated, I have to drop you down a little bit. No big deal. But I'm excited to see what you guys are going to put on the board, and hopefully we'll see. And he mentioned playoffs, so there are only going to be 6 teams that are able to make the playoffs. Playoffs will be in Iron Man format, with the top 2 seeds getting a first round bye. So that's how that's going to work. More to follow. More information about the Go Format Warleague will be coming as videos continue to be made. So moving on, number 7. We have Ultra Instinct coming in at number 7. This may be a controversial pick, because I'm a homer, but I'll let Insidious go and take it away. What do you think about Ultra Instinct?
Ultra Instinct, the team I would join if I left Damage Step.
Oh, we'd love to have you. I
did put them at number 7, right above Damage Step. I think what Shaggy's cultivating there is just fantastic. Definitely a team mentality, group effort, lots of friendliness, community. And then looking at their players, they just have a very good roster. AJ Hussein's coming back. He's, I believe, he won Ireland Nationals. He's a player on the DB ladder. Crashfall is an OG. I think he's top SJC.
Oh, he won it. He won.
Oh, he won?
Let's correct the record. Oh, yeah. SJC champion, Crashfall.
Absolutely. Gia's good with the burn decks, I believe.
Burn, Turbo, everything.
Yeah.
Just got second in Obelisk with Turbo.
Yeah. Indoors won the GFC, so I guess he's good. Naizi is good, and Karibo, I believe played in Worlds last year, so they are competent enough to play on a high level. And of course, Gibby Nation has had quite the rise over the past year. And then of course we have JDZ. I think that team is pretty good. Honestly, I think that they could make the playoffs. It just depends on again who's available, who can play, and then if luck favors them.
Luck be a lady. What do you think about Ultra Instinct, Moxies? Because if you guys didn't know a little history about Ultra Instinct, I gotta throw this out there. Moxies was a big reason that this team got put together in the first place. I will go ahead and be the first one to say that he put this bug into the Shagman's ear, and the Shagman took it and rolled with it. So, Moxies, what do you think about the Ultra Instinct team? What Shaggy's put together, and our season that we have coming up?
I think if you go rewind months and months ago when this team just formed and, added, all these players, I'd probably put them a lot lower, maybe even individually for each one of these players. I probably wouldn't have them. Actually, I'd probably have them right around here still. But, individually, they're maybe not as high level as some of these teams above them, but what they do have from them is an impeccable team mindset, and that's one of the reasons why I told Shaggy when he wanted to, because Shaggy used to talk to me a lot about, he wanted to get better, but he didn't know, he wasn't part of a team. He wanted to, and it's not the same to just put your replay and go for him and have people roast you and, whatever. You need people to commodorate with, to feel together. And I told him about you because you, JDZ, have an incredible mindset, and he has an incredible mindset. So I was like, why don't you guys just gather a bunch of free agents and, make a team? And he ended up doing it, and you guys added all these players, and it's crazy because a lot of these players were either around last year or right before last year, and they were just whatever, miss and hit here, 2-2 here, tournament, whatever. But ever since you guys have formed and you guys have been in the Discord and talking and hyping each other up and just being very team-like, the results have showed. You've got a GFC champion. Gaia's had a lot of success. Shaggy's gotten way better. You've gotten way better. Gotten way better since its inception. They're a real team now. It's not like a joke, like, oh, hey, like these people just put some free agents together and they're just like a whatever. This is a fully fledged team that's good. And I enjoy it. Then you added, AG Hussein, Crashful, Gibbonation. I think this roster is great. I could easily see them making playoffs. They have potential to do something in the playoffs. They're just a good team.
I say Shaggy's like Batman, just going around. I don't know what he's saying to people to get him to come over, but I can't say enough good about what Shaggy Powers is doing. His mindset being around him is just intoxicating. You can't be sad when you're around Shaggy. I look forward to where the season's going to take us. Hopefully, we can not let everybody down, or we can live to these expectations. So we'll see. That's Ultra.
Like
coming
9 wins.
9 wins for Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, I'm about there. I do have one more thing to say. What do we know? What's the schedule for Damage Step versus Ultra Instinct? Do we know when that is?
We can pull it up.
Sure.
Schedule. You got the schedule.
For me, I think they're two very comparable teams with opposite kind of things. Like Damage Step is a very old, like they have a lot of older players who've been playing for a lot of time. A little bit lower on activity, but they have the experience, tops, all that kind of stuff. And then UI is the opposite. They don't have nearly the matchable experience or tops, but what they have is a lot of team chemistry and a lot of just passion and going hard. I have them both around the same skill level, so I think that matchup to me is going to be a fire week matchup. It's two opposite sides of teams who both have a lot of potential.
So Damage Step plays Ultra Instinct on week 15. Bubble week.
Oh man, that's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. On the bubble, that might be for something too. That one might be for a playoff spot.
That might be for a playoff spot.
That might be for a playoff spot. That might be on the bubble. Hey, we didn't make that up. That's just how it happened.
That's crazy. The last week of the season.
All round robins. We might have to play in to get in type beat. So
that would be crazy cool.
Right. Win and get in.
Win and get in. All right. So moving on, we at number 6, we have the Chaos Kings. Chaos Kings, number 6, Moxies. Talk to us about Chaos King. These guys came in last minute and put together a heater of a squad. I didn't see this coming. They just jumped on the board and they just jumped right up the charts. So Chaos Kings coming in at number 6 on the power rank.
So this is a bunch of Team Canada plus 2 fresh. I know all these guys were all in a Discord together, a Canadian Discord. And a lot of them don't necessarily play a lot of tournaments. They like IRL better. But Agent Broken, when he joined up, he got a bunch of offers from teams to join, and then he was talking to myself and his brother IMZ1, and it kind of just started carrying over to the point where he started asking some of his Canadian buddies in the Discord, like, would you want to play online in a Warleague? And then some of them said yes, and then he was part of Rising Suns, and then he decided to he was actually the captain of Rising Suns, and then he decided to leave to form the Team Canada, and then it actually worked out because IMZ1 and Ptran XP, 2 of the best turbo players of the last couple of years, or at least a couple years ago, they're both LRG, but we ended up making it work out where they can play with Team Canada, which gives more options for the LRG team to have a bit more focus on the top end people to play more. So we ended up loaning IMZ1 and Ptran to the Team Canada team, and then they brought in their own players. The one is brothers with Agent Broken and IMZ1. Loaded Chose 25 actually has a top in GFC 5, I think, with Warriors a couple years ago, and Shades 4 doesn't really play too much online, but he decimates the IRL scenes, and there's good players of that IRL, and he's done some luxury stuff and done good there too. So this team is to me pretty stacked. Like if IMZ1 and Ptran are actually playing consistently, this is the top team for sure. Like on paper, this is why we have them so high, is because on paper they have a lot of really good people. The issue is, are people like IMZ1 and Ptran actually going to be playing consistently? If they don't play consistently, then this team kind of drops out of like the top category up top of the top. But if those 2 people are playing, Agent Broken's really came along here with his burn deck the last couple months. So this team has high potential for me.
And what am I hearing? Am I hearing it first? This just in: Moxies is going to Team Canada shortly after this season. I don't know. He's betraying his nation by not participating with Team Canada. What? Breaking news!
No.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first, folks. Insidious, what do you got for about Chaos Kings, man?
So Chaos Kings is a team that scares me.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know what kind of potential they have, but it is through the roof. So I didn't think much of them at first. Then they made some acquisitions, made some trades, some family deals, and you got Agent Broken above 1, who is Agent 007, and IMZ1 all playing on the same team. That is very stacked. And then you had Ptran. Well, I think this team is gonna surprise a lot of the elite teams, assuming that everyone plays who should be playing. If IMZ1 and Ptran are just there as coaches or just veteran backup, then of course this team's gonna struggle. But Chaos Kings, I definitely expect to make the playoffs and do a lot of damage. I think they're gonna get at least 10 wins.
Oh wow, that's pretty high. 10 wins, double digit. And Ptran, I think he's a super scary player. He can play a lot of different stuff. Went to Worlds, almost topped the World event with a very cool stall burn Stein deck. He's got a lot going on. So
true.
He's when he plays and goes hard, he's one of the best players in the game. It just he kind of hasn't had the passion as much this last year, so he's kind of only on and off played. But if you just look at his 2020, the guy came first or second in basically every other tournament. He's one of the few people who've won multiple high level tournaments. Yeah, like one of the few. So like the guy has like if you compare him to any of the top players in the whole league, he's right there at the top.
And maybe this league might bring it out. I mean, this is going to be high level competitive play. You got a team. It's not just an individual thing. You got other people that are going to be counting on you. So I think this might be what it takes to put them back into the fray. These are all ranked games, as I've mentioned before.
Yeah. Well, question is the passion there? This is what have you done for me lately, league? And I haven't seen Ptran play lately. Maybe he does, but he definitely dominated 2020. He won back-to-back at a GFC and FLC with Chaos Turbo. But then once the meta caught up that him and IMZ1 were not playing certain power traps, and they were to maximize their consistency for the turbo. They sort of got it figured out. So hey, if they can come back with a vengeance, then yeah, again, this is a strong team, but they definitely do have some improve.
I would agree. I would agree with all that. But now we're getting to the meat and potatoes, gentlemen. We're going to the top five. You know, top five. This is this is where the metal meets the meat. All right, number 5. All right, we have power rankings. We have Rampage HK. Boom, boom, boom. Rampage HK coming in at number 5. All right, so Insidious, why do we put these guys at number 5? HK.
I personally have it number 4. But we decided to go with number 5. Rampage HK is a very strong team, and this is a B team, and they're still that strong. That says a lot about Team Rampage. So SDL Killa, yada yada. They were part of the original Rampage, and then they had the Italian acquisitions of Niceboy, YSMF, and possibly Trishula. I don't know much about Trishula, but I know that Niceboy and YSMF definitely are able to top events and be consistent about it. Very strong players. They also picked up Mobius from Ultra Instinct, who GDC is still pissed off about.
Don't even remind me. Just gonna just bypass over that. Don't even remind me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, but Rampage HK, I think, can definitely do damage. Even though they are the B team in a sense, I think they split up really well, having SDL Killa be the captain of that team instead of just being on the first Rampage team. I think this team can get 11 wins easily.
That's pretty. Moxies, please take it away.
Yeah, I had a hard time with this. I think the Rampage and then the Rampage HK are basically the same to me. This was one of the harder decisions that I had when I was choosing my teams, which one's better, because interchangeable of who's the better players on each side. I think Mobius was a huge mistake by Ultra Instinct to not have on their main roster. I think that's a huge L by them. He's incredible, like super top tier. He's one of the reasons why I thought HK is maybe even very close to the original Rampage. Just for me, it was LeBounty and Ghost Rider that were the reasons why I edged the original Rampage higher. But HK is great. Trishula 93, he doesn't barely speak any English, if at all. He was on the same 3v3 team as Young Sexy and Nice Boy. He goes to the Italian GCIs and he does really good. Like, he's one of their better players. He's been on their podcasts with Calcifer on his channel when he does the podcast. He goes on there too. He's super knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about, and great. And then yada yada, like the guy's one of the best Chaos players. He's innovated in like multiple decks, including Reclair's winning Worlds deck. So this team's stacked. Like, I would be very, very surprised if they don't make playoffs.
And you guys touched a nerve with this whole Mobius situation. Like, that absolutely broke my heart. I was in full protest, full disagreement. But just a little inside information, just a little backstory for the folks at home who don't know. But SDL Killa, a few weeks ago, he reached out and he asked, like, "Hey, I have all this warrior knowledge. I'm feeling generous. I'm feeling benevolent. I want to bestow this warrior knowledge onto someone before I stop playing or before it just goes to waste." So he put out, "Hey, I want someone to come and train with me." And Mobius immediately just raised his hand, like, "Hey, I want to train with SDL. He's got some information. I'm a warrior player. He's a warrior player. He's literally the number one." I mean, can we agree right now? SDLK is the number one warrior player. I mean, that's pretty much.
He's definitely the guy you would talk about. He's definitely in that conversation as the top warrior player.
Okay, I don't want to say number one, but he's definitely in the top tier warrior player. And Mobius took that, and they've been working together trying to do warrior stuff. So when this came up, since we couldn't expand the league to 10 players per team, Mobius elected to volunteer to kind of sit out to let some of us newer guys get some reps in. And then when this opportunity came about, he would be remiss not to jump into it. So it was a lot of political stuff, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I'm still super broke up about it. I would love to play with Mobius, but I would rather see him play in the league with someone else than to not play at all. So that's how I get away with it.
Mobius made a business decision. He decides out just to sound a better team. But
Oh no,
you gotta do,
I don't-
He's on the team
think-
that's higher ranked.
I don't think that's the case. I don't know. I mean, if it comes to it, and Mobius is the one that puts us out, I'm going to be super sad about it. But
What if it was you versus him matched A to A or something, and it was for the playoffs, and he just
I'm
put
gonna
you down?
I'm gonna have to give it to him. I have to give everything I got.
hold on. When does UI play? HK?
Circle it on the calendar.
I want to see. Yeah, put it on the calendar.
But in that event, and this is a little no more inside information. In that game, Mobius has said that he will not play. He will sit out that game. So maybe that's cheating.
Week 11.
Week 11.
Week 11.
I think that game Mobius has said that he will sit out. I might sit out in that game and protest as well. We'll see how it goes. But we'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned to the Go Format Warleague to see HK versus UI and see what Mobius can do. Mobius is a fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh player. I can't say enough about Mobius or enough about that team. They are stacked top to bottom. This is, like I said, this is the top tier. This is the cream of the crop, and it's no surprise. And I think 3, 4, and 5. I think they're all super close, in my opinion. But with that, number 4. We got the Enraged Pandas. Moxies, tell us about this. This team can shock the world and win the whole thing.
Yeah,
easily.
I mean this team, I was so close. Like I went up and down multiple times. I almost put them at number 2 personally for me. They're just right there. And it's funny because when I look at them individually, I don't really think, like, comparatively to these other teams, like the Rampages, the LRGs, the Sweep Overdose, individually they're nowhere near as good, at least from my point of view. But that doesn't matter, because if you look at results of any team event, and Enraged Pandas has topped every single one, came 3rd, 4th in the other one, top 8 in the other one. They just know what they're doing when it comes to team events. They coordinate well. They have passion. They talk. They coordinate. They're just good at team stuff, and I think that's gonna work in this type of tournament league. And I think Poi is a great leader. And they picked up, like, they already had their main roster, which is already really good, but then they picked up Matt Uber, who's the best 9 player in the world right now.
Crazy. And
it literally tops every other tournament. He's super consistent, so that's a huge pickup. And then they picked up the guy who just got 2nd in World WZ. Where the hell is this? These people, they're just adding, like, the best player. They got KL93. He got top 8 in Worlds too.
Man.
What the hell is this?
Insane.
They're just adding all the best people who play alt decks and just saying, you know what, we're all the best players at alt decks. Try and beat us.
I'm terrified to play. I'm terrified of EP week. I don't want anything to do with EP week, but it is what it is. What you got for us in City is about EP?
I think it's a team that misery loves company. They're gonna beat you with alt, and whether you like it or not. I personally have him at number 5. Don't Copy is a great control player. Please a great Panda Burn player, along with KL93 and WZ. You know what you get with Uber. He'll either beat Gate or lose to you with Chaos. It's a strong player. Yugioh, Chopper. They don't have any weak players. This is a strong team. But it's a glass cannon. If you're known for Gate, if you're known for Panda Burn, it's easier to game plan against you. Now, this isn't Iron Man. This is A, B, C, D, E. You play against your letter, so you don't know who you could get. But I imagine every time a team sees that Enraged Pandas is up next, they're gonna side in some Mystic Walks or some who knows.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're gonna be prepared for
etc. Teams will be prepared. So I think that Enraged Pandas will knock out all the lower teams, finish with a nice 10-5 record. Definitely make playoffs. If not, and then maybe go even further in the playoffs.
And that's that. I would agree, because Insidious did bring up a great point. These decks are not locked. You have to submit your deck the week prior, or the prior to
the week.
Yeah, prior to that week executing. So the decks are locked after you submit it, but you will know who your opponent is going to be prior to you submitting your decks. So Maybe they might
They'll
get some
be
serious
prepared,
pre.
yeah.
It might be hard to pre against everything. You can't pre against Control, Burn, Stein. It's a lot of stuff to pre against. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, yeah, sure, a lot of them kind of fall into the alt win category, but at the same time, like, you could be super prepared for that and then run into Don't Copy on Turbo or Control,
Yep.
who,
Yeah.
or Chopper has done a lot of success with Warriors, so
you
like.
never know.
You could be prepared for one thing and then just play against a meta deck and then you're caught off guard, So like there's
Looking-
I think I almost had them at number 2 just for the viewers. I think they're scary.
I had them. Yeah, that's they're insane. I think they can take it all easy. But number 3, so 3, 4, and 5 for me were really really close. Number 3, we got Rampage, the OG Rampage, the rampagiest Rampage. Number 3. So Insidious, tell us about Rampage and why they got number 3.
Oh, Rampage. If we thought Rampage HK was tough, Rampage, I think, takes it to the next level. Well, Bounty, of course, he's the OG Warrior player. He's been playing the same deck since 2005. And I think he's one of the best Warrior players. And if the requirement is only to play 1 game a week, he can definitely get that done. And I think he can play against anybody and win against anybody. Then you have Carl, Mr. Big Mouth. I'm just kidding.
Damn.
But definitely cocky, but he backs it up. And I think especially in a team aspect, talking to a team, he'll be able to be caught up on every meta knowledge. Then you have Krebs, SDL Killer's brother, actually 1A, 1B. John Wick, Mr. Chris Iron Flores, very strong player, OG player, honestly, possibly even top 10 player in GOAT format. Ghost Rider, definitely where a year or two ago and has been dominating every tournament. He gets the first round bye. It's just commonplace for him now. Very strong player, very strong Chaos Turbo player. In my opinion, top 5. And then you have Scully. I'm not sure how much Scully's going to be involved, but when he does play, he surprises people. He's not just the face of Go format, online Go format, but he also kills it on the dueling book.
100%.
This is a very strong team. This is a top 3 team. I think they go 12-3 at worst.
12-3.
I have to
Wow,
agree.
that's tough. Mox, what do you got to say about Rampage? I know for the folks at home again, there is a slight. At least I think there's a slight rivalry between the LRG Nation and the Rampage Nation. I think there's always a little clash there. Clash of the Ivan, I call it. After that whole thing. But anyway, we're not going to bring up old stuff.
There's just we're just the two most like active teams, like either in Discord or in like participating in tournaments. So it's kind of turned into a who's going to win the event or who's going to top the event this time. Is it going to be Rampage or is it going to be LG? So we kind of go back and forth, and that was even before the Ivan thing. There was a whole thing that happened even previous to that when Carl and myself were on LRG and Carl and myself were on Rampage. We were on both teams at one point.
Oh, wow.
And then some stuff ended up going down and we had to kind of pick and choose. And I chose to stay with LRG and Carl decided to stay with Rampage. So that was like that even happened right before you started getting into the community, JDZ.
Oh,
but
wow.
looking at their roster, yeah, they're super top heavy. I mean, LeBounty got top 4 at Worlds, and he got 4th, right? So he got top, and then Ivan Chris Flores, he got top 8 at Worlds, and Krebs has always been one of the better Warrior players. Ghost Rider and Carl are really top. Turbo players are going to be hard to beat, and then everyone will look at it and go, "Oh, Scully's the guy on the roster who's the weak one." But I mean, the guy just picked up. He joined a random 3v3 Facebook event just because he wanted the card, and he showed up with a reasoning gate, and he started off 3-6. He was 6-0, and he swept the first 2 rounds before he ran into someone from LRG called Moxies, who ended up having to put Rampage down in the finals, I had to put Scully and crew down with a quick 3-0 sweep in the finals. But regardless, Scully showed up. He can play. People want to say the guy doesn't really play, but he knows what he's doing when he shows up. So he's not bad. This team is going to be hard to beat for anybody, and I would be very surprised if they don't make playoffs, and then I would be even more surprised if they don't go far and make it to the Final 4 in the playoffs.
100%. I'm picking. I mean, that's outside of my team. I'm picking Rampage to make a very deep run in this event. Anyone can take it, but I think they have an inside track. All right, moving on to number 2, Team Oversweep Dose. Sweep Dose. I don't know what they're called. It's Team Sweep merged with Team Overdose as number 2. First, I got to put some caveat. When this news happened, it absolutely floored me because Team Sweep was already going to be good. Team Overdose was already going to be good. You put them together, and it's like, what the hell are we even doing? I don't know how this made it past the process, but this should have been illegal. But letting this merger happen, it really just set us all back a little bit because I can't say enough about what Team Sweep Overdose is doing. But I'll let you guys take it away. What do you got about Sweep Overdose? I think this take away Insidious. What do you got for me on Team Oversweep Dose? First, they need to get some marketing and get a better name. I don't know what their official name is going to be. Team Oversweep Dose is going to be a lot to say. But Insidious, take it away on Oversweep or Team Dose, Mega Dose.
Call them the Golden State Warriors because they just signed Durant. When I heard that Dale Eldorado and KP went to join Suski, Smoker, James, Nicey, Geist.
Come on, man.
I was like, throw this whole league away. Like, they know who's gonna win. No, this is a very strong team. I mean, they have no weak players. They are the type of team that has a luxury to rotate through their roster on a given week and just laugh at their opponents. The only question marks are how active players like Suki, KP, Dale are. We know Eldorado can dominate. We know James is a top 3 player. I actually got Nicey, so I can't, and Smoker, so I can't say, but apparently they're good. Guys, he's been killing it on luxury money tournaments before, and he was the base of the Warriors back in 2020 or 2019. He went, I believe, back-to-back wins, premier wins online. So again, this is a roster ridiculous. It is stacked beyond belief. I'm gonna be rooting against them every week. No, but they can honestly be number 1. It's just someone had to be number 2. I think they'll make the playoffs, they'll make the finals, and yeah, ridiculous.
They could easily win this whole thing. I wouldn't be surprised. Moxies, what do you guys say about Team Oversweep Dose?
I have to agree. They're just absolutely stacked top to bottom. If you just want to, if I just go through a quick look at this, KP's won Clash of Champions and an FLC. Alvarado's won an FLC. Geis's won a GFC and 2 FLCs. Smoker's won a GFC. James Art's won an FLC. Swisky's got second in multiple GFC FLCs. Dale just got second at Worlds a couple years ago.
James got third at Worlds last year.
Yeah, sorry. James got third at Worlds too. And Nicey, I'm not quite as familiar, but he's done himself, he's been a pioneer for a lot of things, and a lot of people look to him for knowledge. The team is just stacked. I'm a little worried on activity because people like KP and Smoker and Swisky, they're not the most active players. Dale surprisingly is active. He's very active in our GOAT channel. He's spoken multiple times to myself and some of the other Canadian players that he's looking to be more active, and you can tell he is because he plays basically every Friday event. And he's been playing the tournaments, and he's been liking it. He's been enjoying. He himself has noticed that one of Overdose's biggest reason or issues as a team is kind of like Damage Step. They just lack a lot of activity. Like even worse than Damage Step, they have a lot of activity issues. Their players are god tier, but they don't have a lot of activity. So Dale's trying to put in his own work to be more active in himself. But yeah, I think their only real issue is are they going to be active? Like skill wise, they're right at the top of the top.
Right. I agree. I agree with that 100%. And I would always like I said, I'm a huge fan of the game, and anyone who did this for real, like back in the day when it was GOAT format, before it was even GOAT format, always going to have a high echelon in my heart. I've been crushing this thing for literal decades. Anthony, Dale, KP. I can't get enough. So just seeing them participate in this league at all in any capacity is always going to be good for me. And hopefully they, like you said, they just put it together, get that. I think when you got your team name on it, you're going to want to represent. And I think they're going to show up and show us why they're in this GOAT, greatest of all time status. So we'll see.
But keep in mind, this is Go format. This is still cards.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. No one's perfect. Our part is just getting 3 wins in 1 week against that kind of team. Like if you see players like Dale or whoever, if they lose round one of like a big tournament, they're not gonna play out. So you
Right.
so you know, uh, Agent Broken just beat Dale in a big event GFC, I believe, to secure the top four spot. Or no, yeah, to
Yeah,
get
it was. Yeah, for
to
Worlds
World.
invite.
So again, anyone's beatable, especially if they play an alt-win team like the
EP over there. Yeah.
Rage Pandas. So on paper, Sweep those should win. Will that actually happen? Who knows? Maybe their most difficult aspect this season is going to be to decide who starts.
Oh yeah, the internal politics. That's a
So,
whole nother. That's a
um,
whole nother program we got to talk about. The who
yeah.
sets the roster and the coaching. There are angles that you have to play when setting your roster and picking your decks and who plays who and who starts and who sits. That could be that could cause some conflict, man. Free agency starts in 5 weeks, so maybe there might be some trades. You never know. You never know. The season's long.
I know.
My last tidbit to them, because there might be hopefully a little rivalry here with my team just for shits and gigs, but I do have a small tidbit for them is they individually probably on paper they're the best team on paper for individual high ceiling skill, but my challenge to them as a team is what a lot of certain people on that team they talk the talk like, yeah, we're the best team, it's here's your time, let's see it, because like if you want to talk about like recency bias here, like
Ooh.
they've did way worse than some other teams in the 3v3. They got smoked in the 3v3 money they played
Ooh.
with some major misplays. So there's a lot of talk on we're the best players. Look at us, look at us. I'm just I'm ready to have a fun battle. Let's see it. There's a lot of
Controversy.
yeah.
Controversial take. My name is Moxies. I love to see it. What is LRG sweep dose on the counter? Let's mark that because
Week 13.
week 13. That might be for
Circle it.
Circle that one on your calendars.
There's a lot of people in the community who think this is the best team, and they might even think they should be higher than LRG. But when it comes to show, LRG puts up the results. We do what we say.
I can't agree. I can't disagree. I'm an unbiased party. I'm just waiting for week 13, and I want to see it all play out on the virtual grounds. So that's how we're going to do that. All right. So obviously, last but not least, number one. Okay, we got LRG, and before I go in and let the experts talk about it, I gotta say my piece. LRG, I actually had sweep dose number one before this happened, and then the 3v3 happened, and then LRG came out and took 2 of the top 4 spots, and I was like, that's clearly the number one team. I would be remiss in my own bias if I didn't do that. But let's see what the panel has to say. Do you guys agree with my take? LRG is, I think, clearly going to be the number one team, and I think that's cut and dry in my opinion. But Moxies, what do you have to say about LRG, your own team, being in the number one spot?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's biased or unbiased. It's pretty fair to say that we are the number one team in the game right now. Even months ago, before we picked up Ivan Rizito, you could make the argument even before we picked him up, and he's arguably the best player in the format right now. And even before we picked him up, like, our team was just stacked. You got Dingosig just topped Worlds. He topped Clash of Champions. He's won the 3v3. He's consistent when he plays. He's probably one of the more low-key LRG players, but the guy's nasty.
Absolutely.
And FDS doesn't play that much anymore, but he's a FLC champion. And those are just the guys. Wawink is, he barely plays too, but like, in our LRG Discord, like, the guy talks a lot. He is so knowledgeable. His knowledge of like understanding combos and alt-win decks is insane. He's great, and those are just the people on the lower end. But you got our captain WM is multiple tops, multiple second places in all this stuff. Mark's got second place and a first place in a GFC 3v3. Luke was the number one ranked player last year in the whole format and is the number one ranked player in GOAT's history. Statistically, his top percentage rate is just stupid, and he's one of the hardest people to play against and beat. And then you got myself, and I might only have last year to my name, where I had a really good year last year, and I've done okay this year. But I mean, I'm no schmuck. And then you got, and then we just picked up, and that was even before I would consider us like arguably one of the best teams, if not the best team, before we added who most people consider the best player of the format right now, which is Ivan Rosito.
That's crazy. Yeah, I can't disagree. I mean, what do you think? Make sure before I was to continue on, make sure you go ahead. I should have put that in the thing, but make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe and tell me what you think. Get in the comments, and if you disagree, put your stuff up there. Let us know. Insidious, what do you got on LRG being number one? I think it's a lock. Maybe you disagree. What do you think?
What can I say about this team? Zach beyond belief. From number 1 to number 8. It's crazy. They have the best player from last year, who is in a bit of a downswing right now, but I'm confident he's going to come back to being one of the best. Then you have the best player this year, and then surrounding them is just a bunch of ragtag winners. WGM, who creates everything, from Bazoo to the actual format. Moxies, who tops the 3v3s, had a fantastic year last year before going 0-2 in the Worlds, but that's okay because
shots fired.
Shots fired.
I got it's fine.
Marky Mark again, always. It's just a whole game
top
of
tier mind.
Fantastic players. Dingo, he used to be an average player, and now he's one of the better players. He had quite the come up. Someone had to be number one between Sweep and LRG. And I'm with the team that has the active players. Last year's best, this year's best. Those who draw pod grades do it the best. I think LRG is the team to beat, and I have them winning 14 games, only taking 1 loss. Whether it is against Sweep, I don't know. Could be against.
Man. It could be against anybody. You never know.
Could be against Chaos Kings or Rampage. 14-1.
You never know. Oh wow.
I have one more thing to say,
go ahead.
basically, which is we were talking about UI earlier and how they're very, maybe not individually, if you look at them, the most, comparatively player. And you can make the same argument if you want to compare, Sweep versus LRG. If you compare them 1-to-1, it looks like Sweep Overdose is just better, right? But what I think my team does, and that we've kind of helped cultivate into our farm teams and helped, even Ultra Instinct, is we just work really, really well together as a team, and we put a lot of energy and focus into being better and helping each other out and discussing and just overall being a unison team. And I think that matters, because if you just look at even if you look at the results of every single team events, my team has came first, second, and third in all 3 LRG or all 3 events. Lucas has came first, and third or fourth. We show a lot of success in team environment things, and I think that we're just really good at team chemistry, and I think that's going to make a huge. That kind of is where my personal reason is why we're number one.
Yeah, there's not a lot of teams that have so many players and so many good players to have internal performance on their own. Teams like Damage Step, we're just asking who's up. Other teams are asking their locals, who wants to participate. LRG is, balls deep into this.
Yeah.
And they're having competitions just to see who makes the A team. Meanwhile, they have 3 teams representing them, and they're still giving players away. So LRG has a lot to prove. If they don't win this season,
I mean, but that's a great, and it is. That's a fantastic point, because when you got the target on your back, when you got the bullseye on your head, when you are LRG, people are going to expect you to win, and people are going to expect the best. So they're going to bring their A game every time, week in, week out, of just constantly the best effort, 100%. Maybe a lot of cracks at it might break that armor. Who knows? Like you said, they do have a lot of top dogs on that team too. And when you're a top dog, you want to go out and prove it. Who's going to sit on the bench? Who's starting? Who's going to rotate? Guys are going to want their minutes. Guys are going to want their time to play. And maybe, that might cause some who knows? So it's going to be a tough. Shout out to WGM, who's another co-founder of this league as well. But he's going to have his hands full every week, trying to make sure everyone's eating, make sure the lineup's set right, and guys are getting their reps. Because if you're the best, you're going to want to prove it. And then when someone is starting and they lose a match that you think you could have won, that might do something to your psychology. I don't know. That's just my
every win is going to be glanced over. Every loss is going to be
it's going to be huge. Yeah.
Can be magnified.
Oh.
I mean, just say the last time that Power Rankings came out, which was right before GOAT Worlds, and the GOAT format had me winning the whole tournament, and then I went and just absolutely laid a huge donut. So hopefully we can have a turnaround from that, because that was not good.
You never know. Like I said, every game is an adventure. But those are the Power Rankings. This is what we think. These are our opinions. If you disagree with that at any point, go ahead and jump into the comment section and tell us who you think is going to be what your power rankings are. And if you want to participate in the Go Format Warleague, go ahead, and the team's already kind of locked in. It's not too late to jump in and kind of spectate. And when the free agency period opens up, maybe you can find yourself on the roster. The season's only going to be so long, so next season you can jump in and participate in the Go Format Warleague. All right, so before we get out of here, this was our power rankings. Tell me what you think. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. If you don't agree with our power rankings, jump in there and tell us what you think your power rankings would have been. But before we cut out, we're going to go ahead and point out some of the key matches to look for going into week one. Week one will start March the 13th, and it will end on March the 20th. We'll have 1 week to play one game. So we'll go ahead and go into some of the key matches to look for. And Insidious, you want to go ahead and tell us what you think, some of the matches you have circled on your calendar?
Absolutely. So for week one, only 8 matches. So I think that the match to watch is Sweep OD versus Chaos Kings.
Oh, that's
so
a good one. Yeah.
You have the Legends versus a team that has been built.
Potential.
Come together, has potential. This will be their first test to see, if you can handle the best, then you can handle whoever. So I think that's going to be possible upset alert as well. I also like Damage Step versus Rampage HK, just to see battle of, experienced players. There has been some slight trash talk between the two, so that'll be fun to watch. And it'll be fun to watch LRG pick on their little brothers in LRs. It'll be Silver just running for his life from the big bad LRG.
I would agree. What about you, Moxies? What do you got? What do you got circled on your account?
I have the same two as Insidious. I think they're going to be good kind of markers for certain teams. Are Chaos Kings as good as we think they can be? Are Sweep overrated, or are they going to come out and just destroy Chaos Kings because they are who they are? And then is Damage Step, are they ready to be a team, like a top team, and they get a test right off the bat? If they come out and even if they barely beat Rampage HK and beat them 3-2, that's a good test. That's a good marker for them.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same as for Rampage. Like, they're up against an above average team. Like, are they as good as they think they are? All the rest of these matchups are kind of one-sided to me, minus Solitaire and Enraged Pandas would be the only other one I would have marked up, because I have Enraged Pandas is like one of the best teams. So there's a lot of pressure on them at least for my personal rankings. And then Solitaire, how much work have they been putting in? If they come out here and smoked Enraged Pandas, like, we're going to be sitting here going, whoa, is this team actually kind of serious, right?
Absolutely.
It's a good marker for them. But the rest of these games are kind of either one-sided, or they're just the battle of teams that aren't going to get many wins.
I think you nailed it. But at the same time, anything can happen in these games. You only need 3 wins to pull it off. But I definitely have Solitaire EP. Like you said, Solitaire being a newer team, they may not be ready for all that alt win that's going to be coming their way, and how to properly make those decks to counter some of the shenanigans that EP can put together. So I'll be definitely watching that one. And I obviously will be watching the Ultra Instinct boys take out the Rising Suns. We'll see how it goes. So a very long season. Anything can happen. I'm super excited, and I'm very, very stoked that we were able to put this whole thing together. Shout out to the Go Format Warleague. Shout out to everyone who came out and to participate. And this is the first season. We expect some kinks, but you know what? We're gonna see it through, and we're gonna thug it all out, as we always do with everything. So panel, do you have anything else you want to say before we sign off?
I don't really have much to say. I'll just say any of the shit talk I was doing earlier to specifically Overdose. It's all in good fun. I just want to see this be a fun, strong league, and get some hype behind it. Looking forward to all of our battles. There's no real I'm not really shit talking or anything. It's just for fun. And if anyone's watching this and wants to join, there will be more seasons. We're hoping to expand on the potential of this league after the season 1 and go from there. And good luck to everyone who's playing or watching, and we hope we can make it fun to play and fun to watch for all the viewers who are interested.
Okay. Insidious?
Yeah, for sure. Take all my expected wins, critiques with a grain of salt. Everyone's capable of winning. Some are just more capable than others. And make sure to join the Go Format Warleague Discord server. Get yourself a film star role so that you can be pinged when certain matchups occur, so you can watch them live. It's gonna be really interesting to see teams just come together. There'll be some coaching. There'll be some thinking. It's gonna be a great experience.
All right. So with that, hey, if you're a huge fan of Go Format like I am, if you're a part of this game, you want to see this game grow and see where this game can go, I think Go Format Warleague is going to be a huge part of it. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. Again, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, get into the comment section, and I expect to see some conflict. You know what I'm saying? If you don't agree with our power rankings, if you don't agree with some of these team choices, if you don't agree with whatever, make sure you put it in there and let's get some back and forth, some dialogue. But until then, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the Go Format Warleague. I will put more content out about this as the days go on. So I've been JDZ Plays Goats. This has been Insidious and Moxies.
See you in A.
Until the next time, it's been real. Shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs. JDZ Plays Goats. Peace.